a wild. That's a wild move.
People won. That's
a wild
awesome,
move.
dude.
Oh my
Hang out in that
Value
dome.
customer.
Oh my
Back in the
God,
saddle
dude.
again. Who do we got tonight, Wizards? All right, let's go. What is everybody? Welcome to the pregame show.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, presented by Bet365. Never ordinary. Tonight, kind of ordinary. Kind of an ordinary little night in the association. You know when you say, I always use Orlando. Whenever I'm like, if it's like a random night on a Tuesday against Orlando.
I use Detroit.
Use Detroit.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Washington might be the game that you should use. It might be Washington. This might be the definition of just a game.
Dev's at home nodding his head vigorously.
I know. Washington is like slid so far under the radar because of the work that San Antonio and Detroit are doing this year.
It's so true. They're doing the Lord's work right now for Washington. But nonetheless, kind of feels like a trap game. Very nervous for it. Just terrified the Nuggets might lose. Nobody paying attention today, though, so I guess that's okay. But we are going to take this opportunity to talk about ex-Nuggets. Wes Unseld Jr. is there. Why? Well, we'll get to that in a second. We're also going to talk about ex-Nugget killers. Why? Because Jordan Poole is over there, and I have a take on him. To help me with all of that, man who just got done with a duck hunt, it's Brennan Vogt.
The thing you dream of growing up as a fella is you're like, I can't wait to get together with the fellas on a playoff football Sunday and watch the Washington Wizards.
I know.
So fucking dream come true. Sorry for cursing. Dream come true.
Yeah.
Dream come true for me.
All the Euros out there are like, what? What are they talking about? And then over here, also just back from the duck hunt, it's D-Line Co.
That's right, guys. Yeah, we really drew the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of like really high leverage, interesting sports on today, and you know, some days are better than others on this job.
I would rather watch bad Nuggets, though. Well, it's not almost. I don't know. I kind of into that game too.
Should have lost momentum halfway through that take.
Totally did. I am excited for the game, though. I am excited. I'm also excited for those games. And then over here, I got Harrison Wynn.
I know everybody's talking about the prediction I have for Nikola Jokic in this game. That
Everyone is.
he's going to score 100 points. I know everybody's killing me in the chat right now. Everybody's it's the talk
Chat's
of Nuggets
popping
Twitter.
right
Everybody's talking about it. I gotta say, I don't feel great about it, considering Nikola Jokic's recent track record against bad teams. This prediction was made months and months and months ago. But
It's a tough one.
I feel like I need at least 45 from him to feel good about it.
All right. I'll give you that. I'll give you.
Well,
Oh, wait. 100 is now 45.
Correct.
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him.
That
We'll
is
allow it.
correct.
The jury will allow it. All right, Nuggets in Washington right now, right in the middle of their 5-game Eastern Conference trip. They had two very high-profile ones against 76ers and Boston. They have a big one coming up against the Knicks, but at the moment they're in Washington. What do you got for us?
The Washington Wizards, they are 7-34 on the season. They have lost 3 in a row.
Wait, but they lost to really good teams, right?
One of those was to the Pistons.
What was another one?
The Spurs.
That's tough.
Oh my God! Dude, the greatest part was that Kyle Kuzma made that tweet about when the Pistons were on their big losing streak. He's like, "Oh, man, you just don't want to be that team," and then they lost to them.
So yes, they have lost 3 in a row and 9 of 10. Their one win in those 10 games was over the Hawks. On the season, Wizards are 30th in defense. They are the worst defense in the NBA.
What?
Room for improvement.
Yeah.
What?
The worst defense. They're 25th in offense, 27th in net rating, but they just picked up Marvin Bagley in that trade with the Pistons. And guys, 2 games with Marvin Bagley. He's slotted in as their starting center with Daniel Gafford out. They lost those 2 games, but they only lost by 4 points to the Knicks and 4 points to the Spurs.
Well done.
The Knicks one is impressive because the Knicks are good, and Jalen Brunson went off in that game for them to win. So
Well done, Win.
that one, I guess, is scary.
And Marvin Bagley, 20 and 10 in both games.
Isn't Marvin Bagley
Your boy?
Marvin? No, he's not. Marvin Bagley.
Formerly your boy.
Marvin Bagley was never my boy. Marvin Bagley is the.
I have to check the tape.
I don't know if Marvin-
Take the tape. You
I don't know
probably
if
want me calling
Marvin
Marvin Bagley my guy.
I don't know if Marvin Bagley was Mr. Bagley's boy.
If you want to treat him for Zeke Naji, you can.
Marvin Bagley is the Jordan Poole of centers. You know it? Like, this is a guy that like can put up some numbers or do so. He was. Do you remember when him and Michael Porter were a high school rivalry? I think
I
they
mean,
were
I remember
1-2.
when Marvin Bagley was the number 2 pick in the draft.
Those guys were like
Ahead
number
of
1,
Luka
number 2 in their
Doncic.
class.
I do
in high
remember
school.
that. But yeah, they lost both those games by 4 points. So they are at least being competitive against a good team in the New York Knicks. For the Nuggets, 2 injuries to monitor coming into today. Aaron Gordon was listed as probable with that shoulder injury, right shoulder, but he is playing. Also, Michael Porter Jr., a game day addition to the injury report with an illness. He was questionable, but he is in the starting lineup. He is playing. He will keep his consecutive games played streak going. The only Nugget to play in every game this year.
So wild.
Tinfoil hat, Mike was also interested in the Lions game. Tried to get out of it, didn't work. They've said, we need you to play tonight.
Big football guy?
Yeah.
Big football. Yeah, I don't know. Lions too. All right, guys. It's time to get to our Circle K Who's Gonna Eat segment and ask ourselves.
Brendan,
I
vote.
think we know. I'm going to let Wynn go first since he already has a prediction in the works. Who's going to eat tonight?
Nikola Jokic is going to eat tonight. He's going to eat well. I don't know if he's going to get 100 points, but he's going to put up a ton of points. I think I made this prediction mostly off of what he did. I think it was either the last time or the time before that he played the Wizards. Do you remember he had, I think it was 40-something points on 17 of 20 shooting? Do you remember that game?
Not really.
17 of 20 shooting against the Wizards.
Yeah, I actually do. You're right. It was
It
against
was
Gafford.
one of the
It was against
most
Gafford.
ridiculous scoring games of all time. He missed 3 shots and put up like 45 points.
Very easy.
So the Wizards obviously have no answer for him. He kills the Wizards. He actually does put up really good scoring numbers against the Wizards over, his last 5, 6, 7 games against them. And the fact that the Wizards have at least been a little competitive and the Nuggets knack to take these games a little less seriously than they would take a Boston per se.
Oh, God.
I'm expecting this to be a relatively close game, and I'm expecting Nikola Jokic to eat in it.
Oh man, I hope this is not a close game. It's going to be a very close game. this is
Comeback
a
win?
quintessential trap game in the NBA. Although I really do think the Nuggets have turned a corner. Like the way that they had to dig deep and summon something inside of them and like remind themselves who they were in the last 2 games. Like I really think that loss in Philadelphia is going to be sort of a seminal moment for this particular season. Like it really felt like something that they all had to sort of look at themselves. Like the Jazz game was terrible, but it was sort of like whatever. The 76ers game was very competitive and they were tied with like 7 minutes left when Jokic came back in the game. The fact that they faltered going down the stretch, which is just so unlike the Denver Nuggets. And then to see them flip the script entirely in Boston, a place where nobody has been able to win this year, and turn it on and show us the championship version of themselves was like incredible. It was like everything I needed to see. I almost just kind of want to fast forward to the end of the season. But so I'm hoping that they just like have that fire in them now and they want to like continue it. That being said, I kind of think Aaron Gordon's going to eat tonight. I kind of think Aaron Gordon's going to bully inside a little bit. Like, they've got power forward Kyle Kuzma. They don't have a
Avdia.
Danny Avdia. Like, I just think that this is a matchup where should he decide to play a little bully ball against the worst defense in the NBA, as Harrison Wynn so astutely points out, like this is a place he could do it, and you just don't like that. That's something you can count on is them jamming the ball, yamming it down their throats.
Real quick, Jokic's last 6 games against the Wizards: 31 points, 43 points on 17 of 20, 29 points, 28, 24, 33.
You're right. Those are good numbers.
I want to see Porter. I want to say Porter because would you be surprised if Jokic and Murray aren't super invested in this one, just with the way they've handled the lower tier opponents to this point? However, it is hard to eat when your stomach hurts. I don't know what kind of sick Michael Porter Jr. is, but that does scare me off a little bit. And so I'm going to go to...
Some movie theater popcorn, not the best option for him right now.
No. But you know who's going to eat today, this evening? Young Peyton Watson off the bench in a game that could have low energy from the starters in a game against a very unserious team that almost certainly is not dialed into any sort of Peyton Watson game plan.
I like it.
Is there room for Peyton Watson to be the guy that just says, I play harder than everyone else tonight? And feasting for Peyton Watson, what would you guys say? 14, 15 points?
I mean, we know what a good game looks like. It doesn't even have to be numbers,
sure.
but it's a good game.
So
you
I'm
know?
going to go with Peyton tonight.
I love it. I'm going to steal yours because you convinced me. I'm going to go with the bench.
Yeah.
I'm going to go as bench as a whole. Why? Because the bench looks okay when they play terrible teams.
Yeah.
And I agree with you that maybe the starters are like okay or a little mid. I'm going to go with the bench tonight to have a little get off the schneid game. We might see Christian Brown knock down some shots, make some plays. We might see Reggie go off.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a bench night tonight, which would be great. But that does bring my only question about this is Yoke absolutely dialed for the tough games. He had a triple-double or near triple-double in both of the last two. Was a monster, and I thought in both games played very, very well. But the Wizards, that to me is like, those are the games you're most worried about. Yes, he's had that scoring spree. Yes, he can score. But sometimes I feel like when he can score, he doesn't because he's like, I'll do it if I need to, and if I don't, I won't.
When you say sometimes, you mean every time.
Every single time. And then Murray, you know, the knock that we've had, we've been very hard on Murray over the last like 2 weeks or so.
We have.
And I think for good reason.
Not me.
You haven't been hard on Murray.
I'm the official Murray guy.
You
of this
haven't been on the
podcast.
show, big guy.
I know. I wouldn't have
Just
been though. I was in the Slack defending him.
It's true.
You don't mind the way that Murray has played minus the Boston game.
I don't worry for Murray. I just know who he is.
You know he'll give it to you when it matters,
Don't
but you're not
worry for
bothered by
Murray.
the fact that he doesn't bring it every night.
I mean, Jokic doesn't bring it every night either. I don't worry about him either.
The floor on Jokic higher than Murray, would you say?
The two of them combined equal the greatest duo in the NBA that can net you an NBA championship.
Here's my point. Murray was transcendent against Boston.
Yeah.
He was just the guy that we need him to be when it matters most. And that game doesn't matter. The truth is none of these games matter. That's what sucks. But that he was the guy that we wish he was all the time. He was that guy in Boston. But the knock is always consistency. He was not that guy against Philadelphia. So now the question is he going to be... It's not about can you do it once, can you string it together? So do you think Jamal Murray plays well tonight?
I don't know. I don't know. But I know in the lights of the brightest he will. That's the thing.
I mean, everybody does. Nobody disagrees with that.
I got bad news for that. The lights,
The lights
aren't
aren't bright for 3 months. Like
It's
this
a
is
Sunday.
the thing.
It's also a Sunday matinee against the Wizards. Man.
That is the problem. Is like we are learning because we won a
Yeah.
title, and it was everything we wanted it to be. But we realize it's not everything. There's also like, do we just enjoy the ride? And this is are we going to enjoy the ride night? Because it's going to be. I feel, knock on wood, it's going to be a win.
I feel it's going to be a win too. I mean, I think Murray will bring it. I don't know. I mean, like I don't know. I don't know if Jokic is going to bring it. I don't know if any. I mean, that's why I feel like somebody like Aaron Gordon, like an effort guy. And also the other reason I think Aaron Gordon's going to eat is because Landry Shamet is on this team.
The Wizards have a cast of characters on their
that would
bench,
be
man.
great.
I can't wait for
Can
you guys
imagine
to
if he
see who
did
they have
a
off
poster,
their bench.
If he postered Landry Shamet,
Shamit has
it's like, why me, man?
I mean, there's a lot of contenders. Shamit, Corey Kispert, he can poster.
Yeah,
Cool
yeah.
Bali, he
I'm a
can
little worried
poster.
about Shamit. Shamit has
Daniel
a deal.
Gafford.
Shamit has a deal with the underworld, Harrison, where if he can hit 15 threes tonight, he gets his soul back.
I
from the
know.
Christmas dunk.
Okay, there you go.
The craziest part about that is he had a really good game the
He did.
night he had his soul snatched.
Ended the
Yeah.
playoffs.
He really did, yeah. That was such a bummer way to end your career night.
I know.
So bad. You're like, well, we lost because I got dunked into hell.
to have your career end on your career night.
All right, let's move on, guys, because there is a former Nugget on the Washington Wizards, a guy I actually really loved when he was around, Wes Unseld. Departs Denver, part of the Michael Malone coaching tree, hasn't gone great at all. They had 2 losing seasons before this one. This is, I don't even know if we can call it a losing season, it's a disaster season. And it made me think that it seems, just anecdotally, that a lot of people that leave Denver, it's like it's downhill from there. Not all, but a lot of guys. You guys kind of get that sense too. Like, I love Wes Unseld. Defense. He was the Nuggets' defensive coordinator. Now, you can't make chicken soup out of chicken shit, but 30th?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough.
It's a good point.
All right. So I made a quadrant. All right, me and Kale together made a quadrant here, where on one axis you have, did they want out from the Nuggets versus did they want to stay? And on the other quadrant is, are they down bad or are they doing fine? Wanted out, down bad. A lot of names on that list, you guys. You've got Moutier. He was sick of it. Need a change of scenery. So I don't even remember where he went.
Originally,
Where
he
did-
went to the Knicks.
What was the trade for? Do you even remember?
Devin Harris. It was a 3-team deal.
Nope.
What a trade, man.
That was so-
Rudy to the Knicks. Devin Harris from Dallas to Denver. Somebody from the Knicks to Dallas.
All right.
And then-
Who? I don't know.
And then Devin Harris went right back to Dallas.
They went back to Dallas, too. Will Barton, he didn't want out. I don't know why I put him in the wanted out part. He didn't want out. He wanted to stay.
He just wanted that
I
bag.
screwed that up, Kel. He's just down bad. Kenneth Faried. I am a starter.
Yeah.
I am a starter was like 30 games away from the last time he ever played in the NBA.
Yeah.
I saw an Instagram post the other day that was like, Kenneth Faried still has it. He's in like the Mexico City League.
He's in the DeMarcus Cousins League.
Yeah. Is
He
that
also-
where he is? Is Taiwan?
Maybe.
He also
maybe.
keeps
I don't
playing
know.
in Summer League every year.
Yeah. So he wanted out and he's down bad. Wes Unseld. Again, he wanted out because he wanted his own chance. He got it. Sadly, it made me think of Tim Conley. Got that offer from the Wiz, turned it down. Loyalty, but probably also because he's like, I don't know, man. You
I
only get
think
one shot at
he
this.
saw that things were not quite set up for success in Washington.
It's like the Titanic going down.
Well,
Does anybody want to captain this? He's like, I'll wait for another ship.
Yeah, ownership is very important in basketball, though.
Imagine Rudy Gobert on the Wizards.
Danilo Gallinari, surprisingly, he's not really had a single moment really since leaving Denver.
Well, now he's on the Pistons, so probably won't hear from him for a while either.
Yeah, and I mean,
Didn't play too. He hasn't been playing.
but poor Danilo's body has betrayed him.
It really has.
I mean, in Denver, but trade him too. Gary Harris. I don't know if we call Gary Harris down bad. He seems happy, but kind of just disappeared. He's still around, but he's not there.
That's just more the fact that he plays in Orlando in NBA
No,
Siberia.
he hasn't been good though. I mean, he's
Yeah,
even
but I
out-
mean, like even paying attention, like he's just
the
disappeared.
point is, Gary Harris was a starter on a good
Sure.
team that went to now as like just a
Right.
guy that they kind of carry like baggage.
Yeah.
J-Mike, do you guys remember Jermichael Green?
I do remember Jermichael Green. Yeah.
Jermichael Green, people were hand-wringing over that trade. Remember the trade that ultimately landed the Nuggets Peyton Watson?
Right.
Jermichael Green has barely been heard from since he left Denver.
Bones Highland is the face of this one, sadly. He's down bad. And then another sneaky one here, you guys. Jack White.
This is a sneaky one.
This is a sneaky one because Jack White, Denver wanted him back on a two-way again. He wanted a full ride deal. Understandably wanted a full ride deal. Didn't work out, but you know who would be probably playing or at
It's
least
so
have
true.
a chance to be playing for the Nuggets right now, even on a two-way?
that could rebound.
That can rebound and just play the power forward position and maybe small ball center. Jack White probably would have got a chance here. Instead, he went to Oklahoma City, got cut there, and I don't even actually
You know
where
what's
he is.
even worse?
What?
Do you know what team he's on in the G League?
What team?
This is how down bad Jack White is. He's on the Lakers G League team.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Aren't they the Lakers?
The South Bay Lakers.
South Bay
He was
Lakers.
Jack White was the #1 pick in the G League draft by the South Bay Lakers.
I mean, look, I know they wanted to go with
Wild.
Hunter Tyson.
It's
Would he be
that
playing
wild.
over Hunter Tyson? I don't know, but I kind of liked Jack White, and he played
I liked
bigger.
him too.
He played bigger than Hunter
of course,
Tyson.
I mean,
He'd have played
I don't need
3
Jeff to
minutes
tell me
this
that.
season. There would have been one game where
Yeah.
it's like looking at Zeke, looking at DeAndre, he just goes, F it. Jack.
You know who grabs rebounds? That
Yeah.
guy. All right, wanted out, doing fine. This list sucks. Yusuf Nurkic, starting for a good team, has been, made his money. Jeremy Grant, doing fine because Jeremy Grant seems very happy to be in a place where you can call in sick because of ice.
Yeah, he's like down. He's down fine.
He's down fine. Yeah, you're right.
Both of those guys are down fine. Like,
And then Mason Plumlee, remember him? Wanted to be
course.
out of the bubble so badly, did not want to compete so much so that he gave AD a wide open three. He's doing just fine as well on the Clippers. If we go wanted to stay, but they're down bad, Juancho,
Bo Cruz.
not even in the NBA, although he's probably doing fine as well.
Well, if we're talking about like their life, let's move them all up into the doing
Juancho's
quite
actually
well.
higher than everyone else. I
Juancho's
think.
like, dude, I had to work so hard in the NBA. I don't
Yeah.
have to work hard anymore. PJ Dozier, our boy, RJ Hampton, and then Monte Morris. Poor Monte Morris.
I hate this quadrant. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a sad one. We feel bad
that's
for him.
the actually Mr. Nugget adjacent
it is.
quadrant.
dude.
Silver
Holy
lining though for
smokes.
PJ, obviously doing bad in the out of the NBA sense. He is having some success of late in Serbia.
Sure. I mean,
And-
dude, we rooting for him,
No,
man.
no. I'm just because our chat has some Serbian base, so they might go.
I see. They're
Well, he's
upset
played
about it."
well for us, and I'm just saying, by the NBA scale, he's literally out of the league. So that he is. doing-
Kenneth Farid is playing really well for
Yeah,
Oaxaca.
I'm just
I hate that we
explaining.
have two Mr. Nuggets is former Mr. Nuggets is in the down bad.
I know.
PJ Dozier was never officially Mr. Nugget.
No, but
Oh,
we've
yeah,
got
he was-
Monte and Gary just
Yeah,
on
Monte
either
and
side
Oh,
of the.
Gary. Yeah.
And then, and this one, which is very interesting, wanted to stay but is doing fine. We have Torrey Craig. He's carved out a nice NBA career for himself. He's actually been better than I expected him to be. Jared Vanderbilt, Isaiah Hartenstein, Bruce Brown. And then I think the single guy who has
Doing
left
incredible.
Denver and has done the best is Tim Conley.
Of course, like
Tim Conley of the #1 Minnesota Timberwolves.
You should have put Arturis on down
Yes.
bad, wanted out.
I should have put, if I was putting execs, I should have
I
put
actually
him.
think I would argue Vando is closer to the down bad quadrant.
Me too.
He's
He's
not,
down fine.
He's like not playing well on a
You know,
bad team.
yeah,
and
but
not
you know,
playing much.
but you
But
know
his
why it works
stock
out.
is
That's what I was
high.
gonna say. He's on the Lakers, which is why everyone knows him. And every time you hear fan bases talking about who they should get, it's like Jared Vanderbilt. And if he was on Denver,
Vanderbilt's
nobody even
doing
knows
so
who he
good.
is.
I wouldn't have been surprised if he was on the top 10 forwards getting All-Star votes. Like, I wouldn't have been shocked if he was top 10.
But you are right that if we're strictly talking season,
Yeah.
that whatever.
But
that's what
I
it
also
is.
see his fit rated all the time. He gets his fit rated.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's like Kyle Kuzma, who's
So
like somehow
terrible.
supremely famous in the NBA despite just being a guy on a
Yeah.
7-win team.
Also, shout out Malik Beasley, who's been in both quadrants, like
Yeah.
top and bottom corners.
He's playing
Wanted
Twister.
out.
Wanted
Doing
out, doing
good.
He's playing Twister
at
with
one
the
point was
quadrants.
doing
We got to
very
go quick because
poorly.
we're going slow here. But Nuggets killer segment. It was really just a chance to talk about the Nuggets have lost 3 playoff series in the Jokic era. One of them was because of Rodney Hood, who went on to do nothing
God.
else in his career. One of them was because of that Suns team that immediately blew up for whatever reason, so they go out and get Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant. And then one of them was because of Jordan Poole. And I don't think this gets talked about enough, that Jordan Poole is not good.
Yeah.
And he killed the Nuggets because he had the greatest 3 games of his entire career against Denver. And I don't know if that said something about Denver and the short-handed group, or if it was just dumb luck that this idiot somehow went on fire for 3 games to put Denver in a hole.
It's actually crazy looking back on it. And I remember I was at Nuggets shoot-around in Golden State following game 1 of that series. And Jordan Poole had ridiculous game, 30-something points. And Michael Malone was just kind of chatting with everybody. He's like, we just can't stop Jordan Poole. And he kind of like was chuckling at it. And I think he even kind of knew it was a little bit bullshit. Like, we all might have thought a little bit at the time. Looking back, it is crazy how good Jordan Poole was in that series.
And
He was good enough to land a $150 million
Yeah, he had
contract.
he had a good season. It's wild what happened to him.
But
just
he
got,
didn't, though, man. I'm telling you, he shot like way worse than you think.
Well, I
from
mean, he
3.
wasn't. He didn't shoot. He didn't have that good of a season as good as he was in that playoff series. But he wasn't like the joke that he is now. Like,
The only reason I say this is because I know from talking to the team, they were going into that series, it was the key is Jordan Poole. He's
Yep.
a terrible shooter, especially from deep. And our plan, we got to force him to take deep threes off the dribble because he's actually sneaky bad, but he will take them. He took them and didn't miss that whole series.
as soon as he got punched by Draymond Green, he just like his future forever changed.
They really did say, like, look, we got to choose. They got 3 shooters on the floor. We're not going to let it be Curry. We're not going to let it be Clay. And it just was Jordan Poole. That's
So
not a
lit.
bad game plan, you know?
Do you know what he
just
shot
didn't
from
work.
3 the year you're talking about? What would you guess?
Oh, I mean, it was more than him shooting 3, but like I would guess he shot probably 35%.
Correct, 36%. But yeah, 36% is not.
Yeah.
That's worse than Christian Brown at
Yeah.
the moment. Like that's the whole point. Is he's a career 33% 3-point shooter.
Yeah, I mean,
Career,
he was-
that's career.
He was disgusting in that series. That was out of control.
It was very. What did he shoot in that series? I gotta look it up now.
98%.
Actually,
as-
and do you
as
want to know
memory
what he
serves.
shot in the
48.5%. God dang it, man.
And do you want to know what he shot against the Grizzlies in the series immediately following
Oh
that?
God, what was it?
31%.
Gross.
I'm telling you, this guy is like known because again he was on the Warriors and he had a little swag to him, and when he hit shots, they were crazy. But he never made them consistently, except
No.
for the series against Denver, and he somehow shot 48%.
So gross.
It's underappreciated because Denver was shorthanded, so we all expected to lose, and they lost. But there is this level of like Denver was supposed to lose against Portland too, and they won. And there's part of me that goes, that series was actually closer the games were razor thin, and Jordan Poole had the series of his life. There's a history where
but
Denver takes that to 6-7,
first couple games
maybe wins it.
Pretty
and
much blowouts.
Yeah.
And then, as Nikola Jokic does in a series, he begins to master you. And he had mastered Draymond Green and Kevon Looney.
Exactly.
And it was like, if this series was, best of 12 or
They win.
13
Yes. I know.
instead of best of 7, maybe the Nuggets actually win it.
I know how dumb that sounds, but I feel the exact same.
Yeah.
way. They could've
like
won that.
I remember Draymond Green giving Jokic like legitimate trouble early on. It was like, oh my god! And then
By the end,
he had him jumping up in the air, like he was just kind of playing him like a fiddle.
And Aaron Gordon too was a guy who, like, throughout the course of that
Yes.
series, got his legs under him.
Yeah, Jordan Poole was freaking 10 of 12. Is that right?
10 of
10 of 17. Sorry, 10 of 17 for 3 for 60 points in the first 2 games. Just like
God, dude.
Tony, it had Michael Malone laughing out of just stupidity. Like, how ridiculous it was.
All right. Anyway, turns out it was all fake, but it let everybody sleep on the Nuggets, and then they went 16-4 the next year.
Yeah.
All right. Let's open up our Bet365 Sportsbook app and turn our full attention to D-Line.
What do you got, D-Line?
Okay, well, Dev's not out, so use your discretion when these picks are given out. But I will tell you that we did receive the official lock from Dev,
did.
which I'll
Hell
save
yeah.
to
He
the
had
end.
sent in his lock.
So we at least have that working for us. The Nuggets are obviously favored in this game. They are favored by how many points? Let's see.
12 and a half.
12.5 points. I mean, I'm not going anywhere near that. I don't feel good about the point total. I feel like, if you want to put like $1 million down and take the Nuggets in the money line at minus 800, you'll make some money, but I still wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Even though I feel really good about the Nuggets, obviously. What I do feel good about, as I mentioned and alluded to, who's going to be eating tonight, Aaron Gordon scoring over 15.5 points tonight. That feels good to me. He scored 20 points a lot in this matchup against the Wizards ever since he's joined the Nuggets. It just feels like a matchup that he can excel in. I also feel good about KCP. KCP getting steals tonight. Over 1.5. This is another effort kind of play. KCP has been sort of reinvigorated. He's been, I think that he really has taken to heart the challenge of being like a first team all defensive player.
I like that one.
And he's been looking solid. So I'm loving KCP.
And a sloppy, ball handling
Exactly.
kind of offense team.
Exactly.
But also, revenge game.
Also a revenge game. I'm sure the number one in his heart, number one in the book.
He's like,
those Wizards traded me to the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I'll never forget
Yeah,
them.
never forget that salary dump.
Another thing to note about the Washington Wizards, outside of having the worst defense, they are the worst rebounding team in the Eastern Conference. And for that reason, I love Michael Porter Jr. to get over 6.5 boards tonight. You could also go to Jokic. I just don't feel great about going in heavy on starters tonight because this could potentially be a pull the starters out. They don't get their last stint.
That's a good point.
You just don't know in a game like this, but more often than not, when you count on that, it doesn't work out. But
Peyton Watson's rebounds are 2.5. That's crazy. Man.
I like the idea of betting on Reggie Jackson tonight. If this feels like a moment where he could
big government. In his hometown.
Yes, the big government in the face of the actual big government
And
feels
the
like
government should probably step in about the Wizards. At this point.
I know. They might need to bail the Wizards
They do
out.
need a bailout, but I don't, but I just, Reggie Jackson's been so volatile of late. Like, I don't feel good about that. But to your point, Adam, and vote, I mean, I like Peyton Watson for effort play tonight. So I would probably take his.
Dude, his points are 7.5.
I think I would probably take his points. He's been shooting it.
He can score, man.
He's been scoring. And
I'm taking that. I'm putting a little more on that than usual.
all right, okay. And the official lock, not from me. This is from Dev. So get mad or celebrate accordingly. Michael Porter Jr. over 2.5 threes. You heard it.
Oh, hell yeah.
You heard it
That's like
straight from my mouth via Dev's mouth. That's got to be worth something or nothing. We'll find out.
Should we go? I mean, because the juice ain't great. Should we get greedy?
I've learned to not be greedy.
You've learned that, but what about me? Have I learned that?
I've learned to take the sure thing.
He's a little sick.
He's a little sick. That's why I'm feeling like, I don't know.
I like Peyton Watson points, man. I
do too.
I want to go to some other guys' points. Like Reggie Jackson points aren't bad. Jamal Murray, I'm so curious about Murray tonight.
I'm curious also. I feel like he looked so good last game.
You know what? Christian Brown has points on the board, 5.5. I'm going to bet on both the young guys.
Oh, man.
5.5? That's like barely any points.
Is he going to play?
Well,
Do we
here's
know?
the thing. Could be
I don't think they're going to be rolling out a playoff rotation tonight.
Yeah, I think they might go deep in the playoffs.
Even still, I don't know.
I think there's a chance that there's a lot of garbage time to be had, and I also just think there's a chance that those guys inject energy to an energyless game. That's 2 outs for you to just get 3 layups from Christian Brown. Maybe a fast break dunk.
Entirely on the
Maybe
table. Entirely
free
on the
throw,
table.
You know, like we'll find out. All right, what do we got super chat wise?
A stray. $10. Calling it now. The Nuggets are going to lose for one specific
You paid
reason.
money to bring down the vibes?
If they win, they can potentially move up in the standings. And they keep losing those games.
It's
hate
true.
it,
They
but I don't
really
make the
do.
rules.
They
Could
really,
they
really do.
move up in the standings tonight?
I
Half a
think
game,
so.
right?
Yeah,
To who?
they're out 1 game from the top spot because the Wizards or the Timberwolves just lost.
Yeah, it would be a technicality. You know what? Technicality, I don't, because there would be a different games played. I don't think that counts.
And
We're
all,
safe.
I think we all said by the end of this month they'd be in first place. So the Nuggets love to rub it in our faces.
That's so true.
Lumi, all the Nuggets are good. Plus KCP over Poole kind of night.
Hey, look, man, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. All right. Let's go. The game of the night, you guys, in sports.
Dude,
the
let's go
game
switch
of the
the
night.
audio on all those lines.
The game of the night, Nuggets Wizards, starts now. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you on the other
Let's
side.
go.
We all silly like the mayor.